Welcome to the world of cryptocurrencies, where news turns into opportunities and markets are constantly in motion. Are you ready to explore the latest developments and hottest trends in the industry? This is your gateway to the latest cryptocurrency news. Join us as we break down the latest developments, market insights, and game-changing innovations. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to stay updated. So I believe this cycle here will be the last and final chance for you to make life-changing money in the crypto markets. Now, if you've ever lost money in cryptocurrency or made money but never ended up selling, this is our year, this is comeback season, and this is where this time we are preparing and just getting started after this next market surge is over. You understand that this regulation of cryptocurrencies will further establish itself. The majority of Bitcoin will then be held by large institutions that will be able to manipulate and control price action further, and these will just be some of the reasons why I believe it will be much more difficult, almost impossible in the future for anyone to make a 10x, 100x, or even an X as we will see this year. Here's what you'll learn today. First, I'll uncover the biggest news and headlines you need to be prepared for the next major catalysts coming soon this year, including Bitcoin halving, Ethereum ETF approval, and more. Next, I'll share why I believe this cryptocurrency surge will be the biggest we've ever seen and go straight to my personal predictions on how I think this entire surge will play out. Next, I will show you how you can actually make money in this bull market and what would be the exact steps to discover those altcoin gems that have significant potential like 10 or 100x. Last but not least, I will cover my personal trading strategy, what I plan to do to reach over $1 million in profit and how I will execute my trades, and most importantly, what is my exit strategy for this year. Now, since the last time I did one of these cryptocurrency updates here on the channel, there have been so many things that have happened that we need to cover. Here are the highlights. First, the Bitcoin ETFs that were approved were a success. Since the Bitcoin ETF launched just over a month ago, we have seen an inflow of over $2.1 billion, which is huge for this year and shows that we are currently in a resilient market with a lot of old assets who add Bitcoin to their balance sheets and add it to their retirement funds. Even Fidelity, one of the largest financial institutions, is now allocating a spot Bitcoin ETF to their all-in-one conservative ETF funds. Even companies like Acorn, something I have been using for years, have given me a notification to consider adding Bitcoin to my funds again conservative. Next, the Bitcoin halving will be the biggest event we will see in cryptocurrencies this year and will happen in about 2 months from now. The third major update is about Ethereum, and that's great because it seems like Ethereum is picking up steam now too. To make things even better, Ethereum developers have announced that March 13th will be an important date for Ethereum because the next big network update called Denkin this year will solve one of the biggest disadvantages of using Ethereum, which is reducing costs for level 2 transactions. While that date will be important, especially if you are someone who actively trades Ethereum, I think that date is even more critical, and that is when the Ethereum ETF could be approved, which according to the expiration date that the SEC presented with Grayscale Investments will be on May 23rd. It goes up because naturally money from stocks always flows into cryptocurrencies. Many times we see more and more investors being active in the stock market and then wanting to look for something else with bigger earning potential. We have seen this happen in countless cycles, and if the S&P 500 and all stocks continue to rise and hit new all-time highs over and over again, I am confident that it will further fuel the cryptocurrency markets this year. Let's also put this in perspective. At the moment, Bitcoin is also about $200 billion in market capitalization from the previous all-time high, and if we look at the money going into stocks too, only a single stock on a single trading day was able to add more than $200 billion this year. It's another reminder that cryptocurrency markets are still peanuts compared to traditional capital markets. Now, the fact that we have the ETF and those ETFs are literally bringing all that old, wrinkled money to bed, things are setting up to see a new all-time high going back to the Bitcoin market cap very soon. It is currently over $1 trillion, and during the all-time high when Bitcoin was around $69,000, the market cap was only $1.22 trillion. As I mentioned before, we are only $200 billion away from making a new all-time high, and with these institutions coming in and accumulating Bitcoin at a rate of $4 to $6 billion a day in new inflows, if we just do a little math on the principles of supply and demand economics. Here's what we're looking at a rate of $5 billion per day in Bitcoin inflows, we're only 40 business days away from $200 billion in added market cap. Let's say those inflows start to slow down dramatically and we end up getting $2.5 billion instead. Well, that means that in 80 days we would still see Bitcoin's market cap reach what it reached before, and that will be reflected in the price action showing further $69,000. Now, if all things go according to plan, I believe Bitcoin will personally hit a new all-time high around April 1st. Keep in mind though that things could get crazy at any moment, and I'm just some random dude in my YouTube studio making these calls. I have no background in cryptology, astrophysics, or nuclear hydraulics. I'm just a regular guy here, so take my predictions with benefit of inventory. Now, in other more bullish news, the selling pressure on Bitcoin from GBTC, which heavily influenced the price of Bitcoin after those ETFs were approved, is largely over, and not only that, FTX holders are even getting credited in USD, and we will most likely see those people buy back immediately once they are able to get them. Now, if you combine all of these things with the fact that everything is lining up for the April date, and it's also in April where we have the halving, I don't know guys, I think that means we really need to prepare early. This is a rare event where we have so many different dates that all line up for the upcoming April timeframe, and if I were to make any major moves, it would be right now before the Bitcoin halving event actually happens and before everyone these inflows arrive on the market. Now, for the month of April, expect volatility, even expect a potential sell-off. Last year when Bitcoin hit an all-time high, it crashed for 3 months, and after those 3 months it started to rise again until it reached the next all-time high again. If I were to give more specific numbers, I personally see a potential peak around $70,000 or maybe $74,000 before we see another sell-off where people want to take profits, and that's when, if Bitcoin is able to recover, we could then see the next jump up to over $100,000 or even $200,000. Now, let's take all the reasons that I mentioned as to why April could be crazy, but let's also understand the fact that we are aligning this current bull market with the start of the federal government here in the United States deciding to lower its interest rates. Look, when it comes to lowering interest rates here in the United States, it's not a question of if they will, it's a question of when. Look, when the Fed cuts interest rates, we get trillions of dollars of new liquidity, and not only that, this year it's the simple catalyst that actually lifts the S&P 500 more than any other factor. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of cryptocurrencies. If you found this overview useful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the latest news and updates from the world of cryptocurrencies. Continue to explore, learn, and invest wisely. See you next time.